All right. Well, hello, everybody. Here we are once again. Next Three Blind Mice contest. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you happen to be. We are here to reveal the results of our Three Blind Mice contest for 2025. We've got the whole judging crew here ready to share their thoughts as we reveal the rank and, of course, the big mystery of who was on each team. Now, for those who don't know and stumbled on this YouTube stream randomly, welcome! No Limits is a roller coaster simulator, and we have a fun contest that we've done hopefully every couple of years where we put together teams of 3 people to build a roller coaster that can be anything they want it to be. But the fun part is, one person's going to do the track to figure out what the layout of the coaster is going to be. One person will do the supports and I believe the terrain. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then the third person is going to do the scenery and kind of give it a theme and come up with some kind of story. But they don't know who each other are or what's going to happen. So whoever builds the track finishes it, hands it over, and then whoever's building the supports just gets handed a complete coaster track, and they have to try and figure out how they're going to put supports and terrain around it. And then the third person gets handed a supported terrained track and has to come up with some kind of theme. These people do not talk to each other, have no idea who they are. They don't know what they're going to get. So the big question is, how much does it look like these projects came together, make some kind of sense, and does it seem like it was a project where people were working together or not? And that's the fun of the Three Blind Mice contest. It was hosted as always, and thank you for all the hard work putting this together. I had a very, very busy time and wasn't able to be as much of a participant in judging and setting everything up as I have in past years. So I am playing mostly host this time, and I am not one of the official judges this year. But we do have our esteemed judging panel, Elias, who also helped run the competition. Welcome, Elias.
Thank you. Hey everyone, this is Elias. Also, you know me as A113 on the forums. Really excited to show you what we got cooking this year. Also joined by Kelton, who helped in
Hi.
Amalia. And we also got Hare. And now,
Hello.
this year, we now have Joseph joining us. Say hello, Joseph.
Hello, Joseph.
Perfect.
Thank you for that. You might be wondering where Fintamin or Auntie is. He's actually participating this year. So he helped us judge in previous years. So we're looking forward to see what he helped out with this year. And something new for this year that we have done differently in the competitions in the past is previously each role had about 2 weeks to perform their obligations and duties for the project. And this year we extended it by 1 week. So each person had 3 weeks to construct the track, support the ride, and theme the project overall, close it out. So in some cases, it afforded people more flexibility with their life. And in others, they needed literally every minute and second of those 3 weeks. And we'll see that very shortly. So without any further ado, I think we can go ahead and get started with our video showcase, 10th through 7th place.
All right.
And just so you know, as we play these videos, it's going to go pretty fast. It's just a POV. It's structured such that we'll just get a screenshot with the title of the project, the team number. We'll watch the POV. And once the POV is concluded, we'll reveal the team at the lower right corner of the screen. So starting in 10th place, we have Team 20 with Shamaran. And I hope I said that right. This is the B&M floorless coaster. It's a really interesting, quirky layout. I think it's really fun. Kind of reminds me of Hydra at Dorney Park a little bit. But it's set up in this really postcard, picturesque kind of environment with some fun elements. And the themer did a really nice job integrating the ride into the environment and taking some cues by the supporter as well. So entering the first drop, it's pretty steep. All these elements are kind of shaped a little bit strangely, but there's some interesting ideas going on. So this first Immelman with like a bank stall, it's kind of fun. All vertical loop. And then I think we come up, dive through the rock work here to this very Hydra-esque stretched out Cobra roll. And then we're going to enter very shortly the mid-course block break. Does a really cool moment here that the supporter did a small support trench in the ground, and the themer took advantage and set this up with a cube. It's really cool. A lot of theatrical lighting on the interior. And then otherwise, we're now in this second half section. It's a little bit stretched out, but there's some cool elements in here. There's like a barrel roll halfway through. It just feels like kind of that Hydra influence playing really well. I don't know if anyone else has any comments on this. They can shed in the next second or so.
I definitely am obsessed with the keyline for this. If this file is released, you guys definitely need to download it and walk through it yourself. There's an awesome snake with some really dramatic mood lighting about halfway through, and just the path that you follow has some really good like sight lines and stuff along in that main cavernous room with the drop off of the mid course and the sharp airtime hill after.
It's a really neat kind of lighting scheme as well, building off of what Kelton was saying, like all the god rays and stuff. It's not something you see too often in No Limits.
Yep. So first team reveal for in 10th place, Team 20, we have Changa on track, Mars on supports, and Leo for the environment. Congratulations to Team 20 on rounding out the top 10.
Well done indeed.
It's going to go pretty fast into the next one. This was really cute. This is in 9th place, we have Team 17 with Ghost Train of Fiddler's Canyon. Not sure if the apostrophe is supposed to be there or not, but there's a really fun onboard audio here. And this is a Vekoma MK1. I don't even remember what the model is, but it's the basically modern Vekoma. And it's conceptually set up such that it tilts from the top and basically situates the entire layout in a deep kind of canyon or ravine. And it does a lot of, in a very narrow footprint, a lot of out and back and self-dueling interactions depending on the train timing. So diving twist, a lot of fun inversions. I don't know if we have onboard audio playing right now, Tom, but lots of fun violin arrangements. I'm not sure if it's pre-recorded from some other source. I'm not really sure, but there's a really cool moment here going by the tilt track. So a lot of taller sections where it kind of does figure 8 motions and then diving back into the ravine. And
ooh, sorry, that roll.
Yeah, that roll's a little tight. It gets tight sometimes, but I'd say overall the layout, I think the concept is really strong. The execution, I think, probably needed a little bit of work, but I think it was definitely one of the most creative layouts in the contest. It's the only Vekoma. What else? I think the supporter did a good job as well, suggesting or kind of taking cues by the track builder, looking at kind of situating this in a very specific kind of terrain. And I think the themer closed it out really well with this charming environment. There's a little walkable section where you first spawn in, and the light theming on the trains is a great touch. The audio, small queue, there's like a small ADA elevator to get to the station. So it just feels like a nice complete package. It's a very charming entry.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time in this file just sort of enjoying myself, which is obviously a bonus.
All right, and we've got a team reveal coming up.
And congratulations to Team 17. We have on track Lydian do Brasil, Brazil representing. Zoni's on supports, and Greg on the environment. Congratulations to Team 17, Ghost Train of Fiddler's Canyon. Probably one of my favorite entries, actually.
Very nicely done.
And now next, 8th place, we have The Pit, featuring Excavator. So this is a quirky Mauer coaster, so you don't really see these built that often these days, so I appreciate the risk the track builder took in this project. So it's a very funky layout. It's kind of like a greatest hits of, G-Force at Drayton Manor, a little bit of Rip Ride Rocket, some other things. And the supporter did a really great job integrating it into this kind of environment and terrain. And the themer put a ton of details, a lot of really tiny details everywhere, like speakers, and really trying to string together a logic to ground this coaster in some sort of park. The whole file really feels like a real life roller coaster tycoon scenario. I don't know how else to put it better than that, but cool audio, like embedded speakers by the seat headrest, and yeah, no, it's really cool. Overall, I think it's a really nice project, and it's literally situated in a pit. Really, in its namesake, does a great job. Any other thoughts, anybody?
I was going to say
This
that
looks really
it's,
good at
well,
night.
it's rare for an X car to be built in real life. They're built all the time in 5 hours of power.
Oh, that's
Yeah, it's
interesting. I
definitely a
didn't.
model that you can do sort of whatever with. Throw something at the wall and it'll stick. And it's stuck.
I really like
Light
the bold
package.
yellow supports on the lift hills, and the supporter did a cool job adding the dummy Intamin 4-pipe track to kind of help with those truss track sections. So that was a neat touch.
This was something that I think was pretty rare, at least this year in Three Blind Mice. The themer seemed to really consider how a guest would navigate this park. I spent a lot of time walking around this one, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's like directional signage and
Yeah, there is.
well,
It's
safety signs. Like, it's really cool.
Yeah, and a lot of effort into back of house walkways connecting to all the like major mechanical sections of the ride. So it's like very much in the
exactly
details.
evac routes and stuff like that. They've really thought through basically everything. Oh, and
And
as you
as you
can see
see,
now,
a whole
there's the
lighting
cool
package.
lighting package. Yeah.
Very nice.
So in 8th place, Team 14, The Pit, we have T-Lands on track, Fintamin, Arianti on supports, and TCD, Thomas Coddling Designs and Environment. Congrats again to Team 14 in 8th place. And by the way, these 9th place through 7th place here with Sanctuary and Team 10 all finished within half of a whole point. So it was all three are virtually tied. It's pretty crazy. I think this, which is a launched wing coaster, just narrowly edged the pit by 1/10 of a point. So it was super close. I think it just came down to judge preferences at the end of the day. So this is a launched B&M wing coaster. It's a very long layout, but I think there's a lot of interesting ideas going on here. It's a lot of details in the track and hardware that are very, I think, authentic to B&M. And I think it kind of does some modern stuff with the layout as well. And you'll see that in a second. This is also set in a very moody, I don't even know how to describe it. Like there's a cathedral and there's like a village nearby and a large lake that the coaster is doing most of its acrobatics over. There's some really cool self-dueling moments that unfortunately I wasn't able to capture really well from the POV here, but it does really great job timing the dispatches for those kind of moments. There's that launched airtime hill. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're good. This is one that Per and I were talking about last night. We both think that the elements are strung together really well in this, and the actual layout itself is quite cool. But overall, one of the not air quote issues we had with this is that we felt it didn't really sort of condense on itself as it went on. Everything sort of stayed at its extra large size, and then that
Scale.
definitely started to
Right.
make the pacing feel a little long-winded by the end of each half. Because as you can see now, we're halfway done. By back by entry 10th place, we would have been saying congratulations, Leo, Mars, and Changa, but we're just halfway done. And it definitely plays to his strengths, but it is also one of its weaknesses.
I think one thing that's important when making large layouts like this is to keep the pacing like still very interesting, and that's one thing I wish the stride did a bit better, especially like we said towards the end of each section. Just, you know, condensing the elements, making them smaller or shaped more tighter, just something to make the ride
Yeah,
feel
just
like
to
it's
vary
still
the pacing.
carrying speed.
Yeah, you can't go
Yes.
crazy extreme all the way through constantly, and then at a certain point you start running out of ideas and you start repeating yourself. Um, yeah, and variety usually is the spice of life. And it's the same thing when we're talking about what makes a good roundup video and how much to show, and people want to say, like, I want to show every single detail of what I built. Like, yeah, but we don't need a 20-minute video. A 3-minute video that really shows the best stuff is going to be a bit more effective. So it's where sometimes too much on the coaster, while we might enjoy riding it, it's not quite going to be for everybody.
Yeah, so I think one issue a lot of people run into with their coaster layout designs that I think shows not as badly as in other entries is here on this one, but trying to fit every idea you have into a single layout doesn't always deliver. It's not always a right call. So learning a skill to kind of edit and pare down can be really useful to kind of make the more meaningful moments stick more purposefully. So on Team 10 with Sanctuary, we have Cree on track, Pupper on supports, and James for the environment. So congratulations to Team 10. It's a really exciting ride that I think just needed to be edited down a bit in a cool setting. I think that transfer table could have been
Two fantastic B&M launched wing coasters.
Yeah.
If that
Basically, yeah, it was like
cathedral
2
was
in 1.
modeled from scratch, massive
Yeah.
props. That is crazy.
It was.
All right, so from here we're going to transition from watching a video of places 10 through 7, and for the top 6 we are going to reveal them live and actually explore each of those tracks. So let me go ahead and get everything set for that. Give me just a moment as I move things around. Those of you in the chat, if you hear anything that's too loud, too soft, too whatever, please give us that feedback. We can't quite monitor YouTube in real time, and I appreciate it, and I'll do the best I can to make some adjustments. So with all of that said, let's go ahead and dive in, and we're going to look at 6th place overall. Let me get that loading. 1 second here. I have to juggle multiple windows, and I'm doing this on very little sleep. All right, going into 6th, we have The Lost City by Team 6.
Is it loading?
It is loading.
I don't see it. I don't see on
your guys' screen. Oh,
Yeah, we just see the splash.
oh, it is loading. Yeah, yeah. The splash is there. It's just slowly filtering in.
Oh, I
So
see it
the-
on YouTube, but not on the
It's good.
Discord.
And now it's live. There you go. I guess the loading bar is just cut off from what's being shared through Discord to you guys, but you should see the track now, right?
No.
Unfortunately, I actually don't see anything now.
You don't see anything now. Okay, how about now?
I still see the NoLimits main menu. Oh, well, I can see it
Although
on
we're a little
YouTube.
bit delayed, I'm going
Yeah,
off
it's
of
working
YouTube
on the
right
actual
now,
stream.
and this is a fantastic, really well-timed dueling mock launch coaster. It's so cute. The one side is packed full of inversions, while the other side has none. It's giving a really elevated underwater yoi. It's just really cool.
Restore the video for everybody here. All right, judges, you should be able to see it now, hopefully. We should still have you guys. I may have lost the audio of you guys. And so this is the main thing here? Okay, yeah, we do have people. Okay, now I think I lost voice for a little bit. Now we should be going again. Test 1, 2. Can you hear the judges? I can't hear the judges. Great. Apologies. We are having some technical difficulties. Okay, trying again. Check, check, seeing if they can hear me.
And that,
Jeez.
and he did that mostly on Mac too. I know it because I remember he said his PC broke. Like,
Oh,
The
hi.
downside is oh hi.
Hi,
Oh,
welcome
now
back.
we
We
can
might
hear
get
you.
there.
We were talking and we didn't realize till like 5 minutes no one could hear us.
Each one of us individually fully reviewed that
Yeah.
part.
Oh, I heard myself on the stream. Okay, period. Okay, we're back in business.
Oh my god. So may, maybe Joseph, just give your quick 2 minute elevator pitch, and then we'll just reveal the team since we're kind of behind now.
Yeah. So we know by now that that was a dueling Mac launch coaster. I'll just start out at the top by saying this was probably my favorite all around. There are other entries that had higher highs, but The way this one came together, I just thought was gorgeous, and the idea to put it completely underwater, I think, was an extremely unique idea. One of my favorite overall aspects of this was that I think it showcased cohesion really well. The track, the supports, and the theming all came together to show off what appeared to be a very cohesive coaster. It looked like one person had made it, not three people who all had no communication with each other.
Sorry, folks. So many buttons to click. I wasn't actually showing No Limits. I was still showing the title screen. I'm working on like 3 hours of sleep too, which isn't helping.
Well, I think they saw the POV a couple times.
They
so
probably did. So now they
they
can
know
hear the
what
audio.
they're doing.
Now they can hear the audio
They
that
did,
went with it and mentally just edit that together in their heads. It'll be perfect.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah, I think
this
they
is
did
great
both-
YouTube content.
Both sides. So this is also if you probably already paid attention, this is a Mobius layout. Which is a very impressive feat in 3 weeks to pull off. And Perry, you had some really good points as well.
Yeah.
On
So I can go ahead. I'll just say it faster this time, but I really like a lot of the presentation and the polish put into this. I just think it could have placed higher if all 3 members just, pushed themselves creatively like a little bit more. I think there is just a little too much emphasis on from all 3 members on trying to make this still look kind of realistic, which is a nice effort, but I think for what this ended up being, just just more creativity, more just unique
Yeah,
moments would have been cool, such as putting the whole thing in like a ship in a bottle diorama instead of just having the empty ocean around you, or just the supporter doing a bit more returning to make it a bit more quirky than what it is right
yeah.
now.
I like the God rays at the far end. I just wish maybe they were brought in a little bit closer to the top hat, so there's something kind of a big focal point there while you're on board, since this is mostly designed from the onboard POV. There's some missing transportation or stators and brake devices on the ride, which maybe that's okay. The texture on the track is really neat. The patina rusted really adds to the atmosphere of it being underwater, and the kinetics of the fish and the submersible, even though the fish are technically swimming backwards.
Yep, there are those backwards fish.
Legends.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. There's also, unfortunately, I think one thing, you see the maintenance bay there, that's just got completely obscured. It's to the right of the station, but past it. But that got obscured a bit, so it's it's fine. It was over there.
Oh no, yeah.
Oh, that's
point proven. Point proven.
I'm looking at the YouTube video. I got distracted. I realized that's on a delay.
Yeah.
So, without any further ado, I think we've been on this enough. So we'll just go ahead and reveal the team. So, our runner-up to the top 5, Team 6 with the Lost City. On track, we have. Wait, where's my sheet? There it is. Curly Coasters. On supports, we have ML Designs. And on the environment, we have Jake. So from space potato to floating goblet thing to poster underwater. So no brainer. Congratulations to team, 6 with the Lost City. So now,
yay. And now Jake's next challenge is going to be making a ride on Earth, on the ground, something that people can go on,
and not in the desert this time either.
Yeah, exactly. So this is in 5th place. We have Mr. Evil Science Ride, and I'm not really sure how to tee this up, but I'll do the best I can. So this is, I think it just fell short of a fully realized vision. But it's a very interesting fantasy project. As you see, we've just, I don't know, entered the Matrix or something. And now we've spawned into, is this Strathmore? Is this
Great Value Strathmore? Yes, it is.
Yeah, so, and now we see the ride kind of forming in front of us in this like pixel real-time or triggered sequence, which is really neat. So this is actually a mock striker coaster. It's a really great layout, actually. And it just seems like it just had a really great pacing and flow and progression that worked well with this environment that you'll see. It's going to glitch in a moment on this launch, second launch, to we've now left Strathmore and now we're in the coast of Italy. And now we're in this like Città Alta kind of Temu thing going on, but it's like really cool. And it just, I think, complemented with the track doing this like phasing in and out is a really unique feature. And now we've kind of glitched into, it looks like everything broke, everything's kind of like freaking out, and we've, you know, broken the software. And as you see in a second, there you go. We actually glitched out and crashed out of the sim, which is amazing. I think we were supposed to leave it, Tom, or else you're going to have to reboot.
Yeah, I was hoping to get out before it did this, so unfortunately this does have a habit of locking up No Limits entirely, so I'm gonna have to restart No Limits after this.
So this was actually deliberately done by the themer. So if I think it's really impressive the length they went to kind of present this package in this way. It's very unique. I don't think I've seen something conceptual like this done in the sim before. I will say it clearly looks a bit unfinished. I think it really needed probably some audio, and you could tell, I think there's some ideas that the themer had, but this was definitely a little bit more than they could chew, I think, in the 3-week time period. But nonetheless, the amount of scripting, texturing, and modeling that to conceive of such a concept is just nothing short of impressive. And it does kind of put the track builder and the supporter into the background a bit, but I do think the layout actually lends itself really well with this kind of concept.
Yeah,
and the supports very well too.
I agree. I think that this concept is not something that could have been pulled off on, say, Sanctuary. While it still does, as we were saying, put the track and the supports on a somewhat back burner. If I had built that track, or if I had built that layout, I would be jumping for joy seeing my ride turned into this. I think it's just so cool.
I jumped out of the coaster car and I'm in blackness right now waiting for things to materialize.
Yeah, I think the themer kind of did a lot of really clever polling and clipping, so I think you kind of have to stay basically next to the train, or else you're not going to see. You're not going to see any.
I think I briefly saw it. Nope. I don't know how you guys spent time judging the supports and everything for this. There we go.
There's
a separate file that had just the supports and track in it.
Okay, so you could look at it separately. Yeah, it's tough. I was hoping to see it from the outside, but this is you guys saw the experience. It's really cool, but I'm going to avoid it crashing us again and move on. So we'll go ahead and just pause it.
Yeah, I will say this first portion, maybe if you want to just rewrite it again one more time, just to have something in the background while we kind of give closing thoughts, Tom.
Sure.
If we can reboot it. Is that, I don't know if I guess it works from another train. We'll see. We'll find out.
You can't watch it off right at all. Like you have to be on it
to see it to work.
For the effects to trigger, yeah.
Oh, I see.
The 3DS is like really layered, so like some of it doesn't work right if you just stare at it.
Yeah, it's
like I think the black is actually a 3D object that's like phasing in and out of existence, if that makes sense.
It's weird. Okay.
I think you might have broken it a bit.
Oh, you got some of it?
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Oh, we're going somewhere.
Yeah. The touch of going in and out to previous big roundup winter coasters and attractions is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really neat.
I think it's explicitly supposed to be a callback to Città Alta and Strathmore, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I think the Strathmore one doesn't come across as good, but I think this middle section here at least is
Yeah,
better.
It took me a second to guess Strathmore, but Città Alta was like right away. I was like, oh, this is cool. He's claiming Elias.
And both me and the themer have clearly, like Mandela effect, a giant lighthouse in Sita Alta as well, because I was like, oh, cute, it's a little lighthouse. And then I went back and rewatched it, and there wasn't one. And I was like, wait.
Yeah, there's
What?
one, but it's fine. It's fine. Spiritually, it has one.
It works.
This feels
It works.
probably.
Exactly.
I don't want to say this to like downplay or minimize the effort that Themer did on this, but it feels like the No Limits equivalent of like a Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure kind of a thing. It's really fun. So I guess we can wrap up and reveal the team here, unless anybody else has any final thoughts, Pear or anybody.
I'll just say it's cool to see someone go for something that's made purely for like an on-ride spectacle in this competition. And that's just something that isn't really done much, because in order to do that, you really have to go for it and do something crazy like this and pull it off. And I definitely think they did.
Yeah, it's very much designed.
I will say it's very much
camera.
It was very recognizable to me who did this, because there's only one person who I know that could pull this off.
And who thinks in No Limits this way.
Could actually go this crazy in No Limits. And
So,
I'm glad to see them.
I forgot to mention from the beginning, but as we're reviewing these entries, feel free in the chat to go ahead and list your guesses of who could have possibly contributed to this project. And I forgot to mention that Pear and Joseph were the blind judges this year, so they are finding out, as well as Tom, in real time who contributed on each of these projects. So without any further ado, in 5th place, with Mr. Evil Science Ride, Team 18. On track, we have Kaz. Congratulations, Kaz. Supports, we have Dan Pan the Man. And none other than Robin Bob on the environment. Congratulations to Team 18. No, go ahead and type that in the chat.
All right. And with that, we'll start loading our 4th place winner, which is the one I get to talk about a little bit. Although I did not actively participate as a judge scoring everything I did, I'm sharing some of the load now that we, knock on wood, have the technical issues solved. Now that I've said that, it's all going to crash
Tom,
and
if
burn.
you want, I can lead with this one. I have a lot to say about it.
I'll give the initial tour. I had a couple of things I wanted to point out, and then I'll certainly turn it over, because I did not spend as much time in depth looking at this.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll have a guess as to who was behind some part of this, but I'm not sure if I'm right at all. This is very much a nice Japanese theme park. We've got some good background audio. I'm just going to fly around to speed things up a little bit. Everything's well put together. Required giant Ferris wheel that you have to have. Using some of the stock rides, but really putting a nice, pleasant environment around there. We've got vending machines. We've got restrooms over here, and I will speed over to the ride because there is only one train. I have plenty of time to get there, though, because in classic Togo fashion, this chain lift takes forever.
And
So this track also defies
sorry.
physics.
Yeah, also realistically, the second train is sitting on the transfer, tarped up, never to be used ever again. So
Yeah, I did like.
I like that little detail. It made me laugh.
Nice touch, honestly.
Yeah, a lot of this is a very Japanese Togo layout, very authentically done. The supports are very well. We're slowly touring through here. The supports are also very much of Togo of that era. The waterfront setting is beautiful as well. The layout itself. The track work is done in such a way that it is, it's got those rough, not really heart-lined areas where there's sudden, rough, abrupt radius changes and banking changes with the occasional smooth heart line like this, which they could do. But everything else, it is very, very much authentic Togo in many different ways. And that level of detail of having both the supporter figuring out that they're looking at a Togo ride based on what the track person did, and then the themer recognizing all of that and putting the rest together is quite well. Was it allowed in the rules to do the custom track, or was that up to the themer?
It's up to the themer.
Okay, so the themer had to recognize that, oh, this is a Togo track. Let's go ahead and put some actual Togo track in there.
Togo track, Togo trains, the works, basically. And the supporter also picked up on the fact it's a Togo and did the supports really well. The rings on the roll were also not entirely done by the supporter, but they were kind of suggested, and then the themer kind of how to fill in the blanks. So it was a very strong collaborative effort by the three to really evolve this and just go all in on the Togo.
Yeah,
and I
the
think Amalia
Ryujin.
had a lot of thoughts on this one.
I'll also say
Yeah,
this
I just.
entry, sorry,
Oh, go ahead, Per.
this entry had the strongest attention to detail in the entire competition. Regardless of the track obviously being unrealistic, the supporter and the themer are just equally as crazy, I guess, but like in the attention to detail is insane. Everything is supported and modeled. There's a catwalk over the water in case of an evac or something over there. There's so much to look at here.
Yeah, Amalia.
There's like, yeah, I mean, a lot of it has been hashed and rehashed. I don't remember if this has the highest cohesion score in the contest. I think it's up there. Like, everything came
check.
together super well. There's a lot to love here. I think there's a lot suggested by the layout that the themer took. The layout has a lot of really excellent sight lines and visual interest. Like, there's a low turn over the pathway that's really well done. The supporter took absolutely everything that needed to be taken from the Togo track. Just everything came together really nicely. But I think the real highlight here is how well this Japanese park is just done. The colors, the layout, the aesthetic, everything. It's like super like Sea Paradise in Yokohama, the one that has Surf Coaster Leviathan.
Yep.
It's really well done.
This feels straight out of like I could take the train into Yokohama. I actually wrote that in my review. It's integrated really well. If you pan up really briefly, Tom, you can see the Tokyo skyline in the distance. It's just everything is integrated really well. The scale is great. I personally wish it's just picking nits here, but I wish there was like a working JR train or something that came in to drop you off, which it's kind of suggested at the front, but it would have really, I think, just tied a nice bow on the urban. It just feels well integrated into the urban environment here. It's super cool. And a lot of great music in the background as well.
I was just gonna say, there's a banger soundtrack.
Yeah, the music's great. There's just a
Ferris
lot of like
wheel
really
also
good,
made my
like
jaw drop, by the way. The scale and the fact that they put the time into that. Great job on that.
Oh, we're gonna be here forever. We're riding this thing.
Yeah.
we're going the whole way
Buckle
around
up,
the Ferris
people.
wheel. Huh?
Go get a sandwich, order a pizza. We're gonna have a full
Yeah,
Ferris
for
wheel
real.
POV.
We're gonna schedule a technical issue right now.
Well, while we are slowly making our way around, any final thoughts before we reveal who's behind this?
I love it.
I love it. Yeah, that's about it. The sight lines are excellent. Everything is just super visually appealing. It's just really well done.
Yeah, you could throw like a black and white filter on this and tell me it's just some long lost jet coaster at a long lost Japanese park, and I could probably believe you, at least from certain angles of this thing. And there's a cute little screen at the very end. There's like a splash where you encounter the monster. It's fun.
I love it. Yeah, it's super cool.
I would like to have seen them go a little
I don't want to
bit
say
with
tacky, but it's cute.
Definitely, I'd like to. We
Go
should
ahead,
do a little bit with the far off distance. It's the scenery is very much designed from the walking point of view, but I noticed from the coaster you look out over the lake and you can see some just plain undeveloped no limits land with trees on it, and that's where some mountains, some terrain, something like that, some extra buildings would have hidden that nicely and really solidified it. So that's me picking nits again.
I'll counter that just ever so slightly. Sorry for dragging this on. This is one of
we have
the
a lot of
very
Ferris wheel
few
time, so go for
entries that does not have arbitrary walls built around it.
Yes.
So I'll give some points for that. It's crazy the length some people will go to find a reason to cover their entire ride in walls. It's entertaining for sure.
Everybody wants to be like Terran and fly.
We have, unfortunately, with the big mega roundups, trained them very well that hey, if we can see undeveloped plain no limits grass in your video, it's taking you down a notch. So they've learned to put walls on things.
Yeah, really, I think just for me, 10 out of 10, no notes, 100% want to go to a conveni now. So I think without any further ado, we can reveal the team and start to move on. So in fourth place with Ryujin, we have on track none other than Togo Fan. We have on supports Coastercraft, or on Discord you might know as Coaster Mind. Congratulations. And on the environment, we have none other than EVM for the theme. So congrats again to Team 1, Ryujin, on a fantastic 4th place, and Amalia, not quite highest cohesion. I think it was 2nd. It has a
Yes.
9.9 in cohesion. So
Awesome.
just narrowly missed a perfect cohesion score.
This is the moment Togo fan has been waiting for all his life.
I'm
Oh,
really
and
glad that he got people who picked up on his craziness. Like it,
Yeah, for
I
real.
could
Like,
tell
imagine
from
if
the
there were like
instant,
premiere trains on this.
the instant
my
I
gosh.
opened this, I knew it was Togo fan, and I was really happy that, you know, people didn't just take it as a chance to do like just mess around or just they picked up, and that's really nice to
and-
see. It just makes me happy this entry.
And despite the fact that everyone had 3 weeks, Togo fan did the track in a day and submitted it.
In true Togo
Of
fashion.
course he
Literally a
did.
In
single day he
true
turned it
Togo
in.
fashion.
Yeah,
This is short for him. Hey,
I know
he
that-
makes those 5-mile long coasters. This is nothing.
what we're gonna do with the rest of the
Exactly.
half
That
hour.
boy is punctual.
So we're only about a quarter of the way into the Ferris wheel. What do you guys want to talk about next?
I think we can move on, right? Any other final thoughts? I have nothing. I mean, we're going to be releasing the reviews later, so there's a lot more detail in those reviews. I can't say enough great things about this project. It's just the attention to detail, the atmosphere, the integration to the landscape, and it feels so real world, but just distilled in the simulator. It's just amazing. And that's the train that's kind of underneath the tarp, which is just a really fun extra detail. There's like an audio horn blare
When
when the train's dispatched. Yep. And
No.
there's only one. If I had to critique only one thing, it's to the right of the station. It's the path is a little bit too steep there. I would probably roll down and break all my legs, but otherwise it's pretty much a real world, real scale developed coaster.
Yep.
In a
Yes,
urban park.
did we mention the friction?
Oh yeah, this coaster defies any semblance of physics and reality.
Yeah, I felt
It's kind of
went
it
on
feels
a while.
impossible.
And
I think I don't remember the value, but it's like 0.00001 friction or something. I don't even know.
That actually brings up a good point. I meant to mention earlier with the underwater coaster. If that one could have benefited from lowering that friction, so it really feels like things are kind of moving a little more sluggishly underwater. But that would have been a very interesting thing to explore.
Yeah, it definitely would have, but that's not something that the track designer most likely would have been able to plan.
Yeah, they wouldn't have known that it was going to be underwater. It's a good point.
And that double down there that you were just showing there, Tom, that's probably my favorite part of the layout. It just feels like a really quirky, I would be screaming my head off moment on the ride. So it's just feels like the appropriate amount of jank, and it has a really fun progression to it as well.
Oh, I like the angled block break too that was banked somewhere to the side. I think it's over here. No, where is it? So many helices. I forgot what it was, but they're one of the.
I think the
Probably the one
ride
right
is
below you.
probably oh yeah, that one I think. The ride is probably just maybe 20% too long. I think this is another case of I want to fit every idea I have in the layout, but I think it just works well in this presentation.
Well, if you're
Regardless
doing,
Alright,
of
we
the
should
realism, I think it's a pretty fun layout. There are definitely moments that are way too much. But
but if
maybe
you're doing
like
a tribute to Togo, you need Togo coasters. You need multiple long helices that seem to go on forever. The roll dive and the flat roll, and all the pieces are here. And then the janky weird curves and abrupt banking. Yeah, it's every ingredient's here.
All right, Tom, I think we can move on to the third place entry. And I'll hand it off to Kelton to open this up.
So this is an out of this world, but actually in this world, wizarding world mock launch spinning coaster, and it really went there. It was one of the, I would say, the effort put into just creating the actual queue station ride experience itself is definitely up there. Um, I'm not sure if we'll be going through it on this stream or not, but there's a pre-show with questionable audio mixing and stuff. I had to squint and really focus to hear what was being said. But then when the doors opened behind you and you just walked into the last bit in the station, it was just so cool. This has some of the best terrain as well in the competition. It's just it's extremely realistic compared to a lot of other terrain created for this. It's also a very big file.
Yeah, just letting everyone know we're
see.
not actually broken, hopefully, but it's a long.
Yes, exactly.
Huge
I went
file.
through a lot of my notes really quickly, and I looked
Yeah, it
up,
was-
and that it hadn't even gotten to L in loading. So,
yeah, it was either this or ride the Ferris wheel quarter of the way
yeah,
up.
exactly. So we chose both.
Yeah.
The layout for this is it's one of, if not my favorite, actual roller coaster layout in the competition this go around.
Yep,
I
mine
think
too.
it really could be an actual coaster. It's the forces are all in check. The layout, the placement of elements is really well thought out. It's long. It's not very short at all, but it still doesn't feel repetitive. It's just, and it pushes it a little bit, but not too far that it makes me go, "Oh, what's going on?"
Okay, so we will spend some time exploring the environment and the station of the Q house and everything like that. I was advised that it is best to ride this in the first car. So we are going to go ahead and do that to ensure that the audio syncs up. And then after we come back from that, then we'll spend some time. Let me get into the actual ride here. We're kind of spoiling the
That
experience.
reminds me, Tom, I don't remember if this is the one of the ones where you have to wait a train for it to work.
No,
Or
that was
not?
No,
that's later.
We'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get to that.
That's going to be the where's the exit? I'm trying to remember the fastest way to get through to
The exit's that path is the path under the
there.
right
You go.
there. Yep.
And that'll get us to the station faster.
Did you pause this in?
Yes,
didn't
I
see
did.
The pause. Oh, you did. Okay,
I did
great.
because I wanted to make sure that we don't miss out.
That's
Oh,
Might be
yeah,
the
might be
second
unload.
train. Yeah, that's
The
the
trains
unload.
are custom, and
This is
they
unload.
are
This is
stunning.
unload? Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is the station. That's right.
The station is also one of my favorite, if not my favorite, besides maybe one that's coming up soon. But I
Yeah.
love the effect of the stars
stars.
in the floating station. It really does feel like you're, like suspended in some dimension or something like that. It's really cool.
Yeah, really cool star field. Kind of a dark ride moment here, and if you might have noticed already, even though this is a mock extreme spinner, it kind of does a kind of an interesting twist with the Cobra's Curse style 4 seats that kind of face the same direction on each car.
Yeah, very new Intamin, new gen coaster, Fast and Furious.
I really love the details on the trains though, the little clocks on the restraints. There's so much effort put into the modeling of these trains, and that's probably why one of the reasons the file size is so big, but they're beautiful, so I don't mind.
I
And
have maybe a guess as to who did this, but something I wanted to point out that really, I think it might have been one of the first things to catch my eye when I opened this project. The terrain on here is disturbingly realistic.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much detail in there, it's not even funny.
I was gonna say that's actually a hint for me to who made this.
Yeah, I think, like you said with another project, there's only one person I know of who could pull that off.
yeah, definitely.
This layout also feels like, to me personally, just Ride to Happiness, but with a more purposeful and better progression of elements. So it's kind of feels like a revised version of it. I like the way it builds to that moment on the top hat and looking over the water. I love that sweeping curve after the kind of gender role moment where it goes down, skates across the water into the hammerhead turn, banana roll. Sorry.
Yeah, that terrain usage
Yeah.
is incredible. Like the upwards corkscrew, and that's all going to be would be so disorienting on a spinner, and it seems like the track builder very much put a lot of cues that this needed to be a spinning coaster that I'm glad we picked up on.
So now that
Yeah,
we've
for sure.
ridden the ride, let's actually get in line for it.
Yeah. And
So
the
something
support work on this
Oh, go
too
ahead.
is also extremely well done. They're all very detailed and they feel quite realistic to what Mach would do, in my opinion. Almost to a fault. I did find for the cohesion, I did lower my score a little bit because although we're going in line, the island sort of out in the back where the banana roll is, the terrain is fantastic, but none of the footers connect. None of the footers connect. So maybe that's the wizarding apparatus that the ride is themed after. It can make coasters levitate or something, but it's so good, and then you just start to pick away at the finest details that you need to, and it starts to lose itself a little bit.
I appreciate that they built the queue
Yeah.
with the shortcut so you don't actually have to walk through all of it.
Yeah.
I do wish the queue had, you know, a little bit more going for it, because it seems like they definitely wanted to put an effort into that experience. I like, you know, just
But they ran out
More
of time, I think. Yeah.
instead of like a big cattle pen room or something, you know,
You can
maybe
fly
just
through
a
that
small room that had more theming around it, something to explain the story. I think the pre-show was a cool touch, but you know, the audio mixing is horrible in there. You can barely understand what's going on, and it's so very long. In a real life ride, that
Yeah.
this is kind of trying to be.
I would have sat down.
The load procedures would be awful, because you'd have so many trains just waiting in the station empty, waiting for people to load from the pre-show, because there's not also that much room in here to keep up with that.
Yeah, you would
so-
probably need another, like 2 pre-show rooms so you can kind of maintain the flow of people, so you're not
cranking
starving the station.
I'm cranking the audio from the pre-show, by the way, so you can hear it. The voice is distorted. It's very soft and was tough to hear. But definitely appreciate the effort to do this.
Yeah, that to have that, it's
Yeah.
there, you could tell there's definitely a lot of vision from on the themer's behalf. I think it's kind of another situation of a little bit a bit more than they could chew.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
nonetheless, I think they were able to kind of wrap it up in a presentable package that I think still nonetheless really ties the work the track builder and the supporter did very nicely. Super phenomenal entry overall.
Another critique
think.
with the pre-show is that nothing happens. It's audio and music,
Yeah.
but no lighting changes, no effects, nothing. You just sit in here in this room and listen to the narration. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that they went through the effort to put this together and to record this custom audio and to create the story for all of that. But without anything happening, you know, every single person in this room would be like, when is this door going to open? Come on, let me out, let me out, let me out. Because there's not much going on.
I was
except
like
the story.
Yeah, it would be like the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind pre-show. If you know, you know.
When everyone just clumps at the right side of the room.
But now you get into the room. This is the proper reveal for the station, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah, this also took my breath away. This was a really cool moment that was executed well, and you know, it's when you see the effort put into stuff like this, it just makes other moments like the pre-show feel a bit lopsided, in my opinion, and you know, like having floating footers. It's nice to see the scale and ambition, but at the same time, it's also important to know the scope of that and what you're capable of,
Yep.
and make sure you're also spending enough time looking at detail and re-looking at the things you've done in order to catch small things like, you know, floating footer or just lack
Yeah,
of detail
exactly.
in the queue line.
Fly out of this thing and then show the
One
floating
thing that's
footers.
very important, in my opinion, is riding.
See, yeah,
You're
you can see it already.
riding things over and over and over again and looking every different direction you can, trying to spot something that might be wrong.
Well, this contest it gives you the benefit of time to do that, unlike, you know, my usual contest with only 5 hours.
Oh, but yeah, you should get some just big angles here because the terrain is so beautiful. Like this ride really.
The rock work is amazing.
Yes.
Great,
Aaliyah
like
said
Joseph
it
was saying.
for-
It
It's
doesn't
kind
even
of
look like
uncanny.
NoLimits. That's how good it is.
I feel like the
Yeah,
rock work is like uncanny valley realistic. It's kind of crazy. It's like really, really, really impressive. The texturing on this whole thing is honestly really impressive. The trains just feel so well defined and well done. It feels like it's something made for UE5, not No Limits. It's really, really impressive.
yeah. And you
I
can
will.
tell if you fly around the back, it is very much. I think there was more planned, but it was very much just kind of close up the big hole in the back to kind of wrap it
Mhm.
up,
Yeah.
which
Nothing
it's
to see
okay.
It's fair.
Oh,
Sorry, go
look at this
ahead.
here over here. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Whoever
I'm
I
just saying that.
interrupted.
No, you didn't earn my trust. It's okay. It's fair. It's like one of those pictures of the backside of Everest, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, the hurricane destroyed Everest." No, it's just the back. Like that's okay. But as you were saying for another entry, there's so many postcard moments, especially looking on this front face of the ride. Like truly, you could just snap a photo of basically any aspect of the ride, and it just looks stunning.
I think one
So
gripe I have with it is the rotations on the trains, on the cars
yeah, they're a
is
little
a bit,
clunky.
it's a bit
Mhm.
strange,
Yeah.
yeah, and it feels at points like the whole ride is supposed to be control spinning, which I definitely don't think is the case.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wonder if that's
yeah.
I can definitely tell there's moments on the launches where it's supposed to kick the train, but then you get to other moments where you think you're supposed to be free spinning and you're wobbling back and forth once again like Cosmic Rewind.
Well, Tom, I hope you're taking notes for the next train feature, the extreme train, right, in the next update coming up soon.
Yup.
So
Uh,
I'm kidding.
that's okay.
Just before we reveal the team,
I'm not.
it'd be great to look at, the supports are integrated well also, or the themer did a great job adding those turrets and towers on the vertical columns, so it just blends in really nicely. And honestly, I think if I had a wish for one thing, is I think the Ride to Happiness colors are a little bit on the nose. It would have been nice to see a different splash of color or something that kind of makes this a bit more unique. But the red honestly works well with the shingles and the overall packaging and
Yeah.
the rock work
Or
as well.
if there was some way to get just like a cool light package along with this, like with the
Oh, absolutely.
wizarding apparatus itself, I feel like it'd be a perfect excuse to do some really cool tracer lights like Hang Time sort of has, where
Yeah.
it's not necessarily emitting magic, but for lack of better terms, it is.
Or, I mean, even if you went like a Stardust route with it, where you just put
Yeah,
lights on the
true.
train, that'd be really cool.
All right. So I think we can, since it's already 3:10, so we really got to get going.
Yeah.
So closing out third place with Stromnar's Alchemy Apparatus Team 8 on track. We have other tab. We have where am I? Team 8. Jules.
We have
on
Jules,
track.
yes.
On supports, we have Yas Coaster. Congratulations. And on
That's
environment,
also Lee, by the way.
Ali, yep. And on
Yay.
environment, we have Lounlim. Congratulations to Team 8
I knew
on a
it.
fantastic third place. Yep.
Only one person can do terrain like that and generate it like that.
Yep.
Good job, Lounlin.
All right, moving along, we have Team 5 with Nosferatu.
This ride is so good.
This is
This
so
ride
good.
is so good.
Especially love just that little touch. I went and looked for it to see how that hand grows across the front, and they actually made a physical thing to do it. It's right here. Right, see, there's the hand going in front of the projector.
I love it.
And there it is.
This entry, oh my god, this one, I have been waiting for someone to do a Nosferatu theme ever since I saw the movie, and I am so happy someone did it. In fact, I was talking to someone recently who said they would love to see someone do this, and I had to keep my mouth shut and be like, just wait for the 3 p.m. But I don't know if anyone has seen the new movie that came out, but this captures the
amazing.
atmosphere of it perfectly. The washed out blue lighting outdoors that makes even things at night look bright and stand out. Just the general atmosphere and tone, it really fits. And even though I think like some of the texturing and theming could have been done a bit better. Just the atmosphere is to die for here. It's incredible. It's pulled
And just
off
the aura
so
of
well.
the
Yeah.
red light as you drop right out of the station.
But you make a good point there. A lot of things with theming is not really about the detail. If your high level concept doesn't work, adding more detail won't save it. Whereas
Exactly.
here, the high level concept is borderline perfect, if not perfect, and you find you don't really need all that detail.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what they were trying to convey here. It's even if the ride like wasn't named, the name wasn't slapped on the front, like you can very much tell that this is supposed to be themed to, if not Nosferatu, some kind of vampire or Dracula or something, and it works so well.
Also, this layout is bonkers.
Incredible.
Yes.
I have no clue who made this layout. I was never able to make any kind of guess for it, but you did a
It's a
fantastic
gag.
job. This moment where you drop past the tilt track, oh my god, I need that to be real.
It's
And then
bonkers,
launch
but
right
very
back up.
realistic.
Yeah. I also
It's
love the
taking very
little
good chances.
Nosferatu face that flashes at you. That was a very fun
Ooh,
touch. I
let's
was
get this
hoping he
look
would
ahead
show up.
away.
Yeah.
Can we push Q?
Oh yeah, please. This upwards roll and like dive loop sequence, love that. Incredible layout work here. I think this is one of the best presented layouts. There's very much care to how everything looked, like with the verticality, and even how the elements look together, which I love. There's whoever
Oh.
made this layout definitely have a great eye for presentation of a layout in general of a whole. It's not just elements strung together. There's purpose to everything, and I really like to see that. That's something that I feel like a lot of people still need to work on, even real manufacturers sometimes.
But the
I agree with
supporter and
that.
the themer also picked up on that and
Yes.
leaned
Mhm.
into that framing heavily.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
The supporter also, fantastic job from you. I love all the creative directions you chose with the terrain, and even that one section where we'll probably see later where everything's like cantilevered off a cliff. Incredible. This even if you're able to look at the file ever, there's model stoppers like
Yeah,
with
you need to go
supports
to
for
the
the
bottom
tilt.
of the. If you pan to the bottom of the tilt track, Tom, there's a ton of detail that the supporter just, in their own volition, added there. That was a really nice detail.
And I was able to guess this supporter because there is, well, I'll say it later, but there's a major tell in how they do their supporting. I know, and there's only one person who does that one thing.
Yeah, I'd say one thing the supporter did, I think, lent itself really well to this competition is they did not connect any of the supports to the ground, literally. So all this, they just did like a lighter, thicker diameter tube to represent a footer. So it gave the themer a lot of flexibility and room for their own ideas of how to ground the ride. So it wasn't wholly done by the supporter, but there was enough by the supporter to at least start kind of forming that concept and that vision that the themer then kind of picked up and carried the torch. So it was super, super effective collaboration by all three, super cohesive for me, and just literally 10 out of 10 quality by all three. It's just really impressive.
It's beautiful to look at. I love the way the lighting on the outdoor scenes.
Yeah.
Maybe tone down the fog a little bit on those headlights, but
yeah, I will say with the headlights, it's not really clear that there's a light source or a lantern that's emanating or emitting from. So that's, I wish that there was just an extra model attached to the front of the car to suggest like the light source is actually coming from something. But that's a very minor critique in an otherwise really well done package. And you see just how theatrically done everything is with like practical effects, lighting, the physical hands with that are backlit. It's just I don't want to say it's like carnival sensibilities, but it's just the theatrical sensibilities are just very apparent in the work done here. It's really great.
that's serving the
Fantastic.
story. It really serves the story of the ride and sets up. So I wouldn't call it like cheesy carnival funhouse stuff, it works. It works really well.
Yep, feels like definitely Robert Eggers meeting roller coaster theme park design. So it's
Yeah.
really suits.
That mid course is really tiny. Oh my god. Like my side would be hurting coming out of that. But on my side, my front would be hurting if it had to E-stop up there, but neither here nor there.
Yeah, I love the color choice for the track and supports too. It's not
They
a
really
scheme.
worked with the same color.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't blend in like a lot of other ones do.
It's not a scheme that you'll see often, or even like just like this kind of like dark environment is not something you see often, because it is hard to pull off and make something that still stands out. But the themer was definitely able to make something that's even at nighttime beautiful, and that's a challenge.
Yeah, this is a very visually interesting entry with a lot of really awesome, like, there's a lot of attention paid to what you see. Like, I know the entry sightline, you immediately see the hand, but one thing that I noted in my review was, like, you can't see the drop track behind the towers, so you don't really know.
Yeah, it's
it's concealed very well.
Yeah, it's very
the whole environment captures that like sort of dread that you feel in the movie, just like that darkness that creeps up on you. It's really nicely done. I just across the board, great job, everybody.
Yeah.
Presentation.
And this has the highest support score in the competition. It got a 9.9 out of 10 for the supports. Yes, completely.
So I think we gotta actually have some time to review first place. So without any further ado, if no one else has any comments, in second place with Nosferatu, team. I lost it. Where is it? 5.
That's a strange screen name.
On track, we have Luco. Congratulations, Luco, on track. On supports, we have none other than Marv. And on the environment, none other than the Codemaster. Congratulations to Team 5 on an incredible second place.
Very nice.
Not sure, Per, if you were expecting that, since you had no
he
idea.
is busy gagging. I might be able to blow it up.
I could tell Marv. I know your supporting tell. Like Leah said, those footers. I know you, but like great job, Patrick, on the theming. Amazing job.
And incredible job, Luco, as well. I think it's easily his best ride.
Also, I can't.
Easily.
Yeah, Luco, that is an incredible layout for you.
Good.
That is your best layout. That is an amazing layout. You need to do that over and over and over again.
Luco might get the most improved award from me from beginning of joining the community to now.
Yep.
I would have never even guessed that. I'm so used to him building his custom stuff that I would never expect to see something based off a real style from him.
All right, so first place, Tom, just by the way, do not speed up the sim. So we're going to take our time. We have to ride the red train for the most effective experience. So this is Journey to Kepler 186F. And first of all, we just got dropped off by some futuristic subterranean subway thing. And now we're finding ourselves on this bridge to a launch bay. We're like, what is happening? And so we're going to make our way into this station building, which is kind of futuristic. You see the trains down there. So yeah, there's a red train we want to get on. And there's a lot of custom audio going on in the background, some futuristic lighting. The scale of this is absolutely immense, and it's just really hard to put into words. Just the scale and gravity and weight this ride has just in the first 10 seconds of walking
right in. Yeah, like my jaw was on the floor like the entire time I was walking through this. This, in my opinion, is one of, if not the coolest thing I've seen built in NoLimits 2. This is every step of the way a NoLimits 1 project, and I mean that in a great way. It gives me the same feeling as looking at, if people remember Cold Air Fusion from NoLimits 1, something like that. Just something absolutely insane, and that's something I feel like has been missing from NoLimits 2 a lot. So thank you for this.
And I am gonna not speed things up. I'm just gonna wait here until it happens, and I've deliberately not looked anywhere so that way everybody's minds can be blown as they see what happens.
So as this door is going to fly up in front of us, you're going to hear the loudest scenic element on any No Limits coaster, I think, ever. It is I mean, I can't even say it until the door opens, but it's.
One thing. Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say, as this door is going to open, it's going to literally launch us, literally, to Kepler 186F. Sorry, there, go ahead. Oh, we're about
One
to
thing
go.
that I think
All right.
that's important with this layout that I love is that it is crazy, it is unrealistic, but it is executed in such a cool way. It's
Yeah.
not just stringing a bunch of random elements together. The trains dance with each other. It feels like every moment is meant to accomplish something, and that's what I think something a lot of people can learn from.
Yeah. And as you just see, we just literally launched at a comical speed through a portal, and now we're in a new planet. We're in Kepler 186F, and for basically the majority of the ride, we've done this crazy fast excursion out to I guess you could say the spaghetti bowl section, but it's this whole crazily choreographed track layout that does a lot of multi-passes through kind of a switch, which is kind of I guess a modern thing these days. I feel like it's kind of becoming more of a novelty now, but it's really impressive just the amount of care and precision that went into the choreography of these self-dueling interactions, the way the elements flow together, the way everything builds. And there's this crazy, insane portion of the ride where it kind of orbits around the kind of entry where the portal is. And the supporter, this was already kind of, I don't want to say too crazy, but it was definitely bordering unreasonable in terms of definitely large in scope for the rest of the team to take on. But the supporter literally matched the intensity and insanity that the track builder did. And you see these crazy supports that are like almost wanting to like blur and get pulled into the wormhole, that are just warping and kind of like oriented in different wacky positions. So it's super, super cool. And of course, the themer just saw all of this work and capitalized on it all and took the ride just another step further and just evolving the concept into just something out of this world, literally. I believe they composed the music that you hear on the ride too, that just, I think, complements the pacing really well. And yeah, this part now we're barreling back into the portal through the wormhole, and now we're about to dive back down, barrel roll over the next dispatch. In a second, they're launching over the stall overhead, and now we've arrived back in, I don't even know I forgot what it's called, Stellaris Network or something, but literally what a trip this ride is. It's insane.
Yeah, it's something that I want, like, do you know those Max Flight 4D simulators that they like have at IAPA sometimes, or like at just random FECs? Like you sit in the little tube and they play like a crazy ride and you just start flipping around to it and stuff. It's one that I want to go on for this so bad. I would be screaming, flipping upside down, because there's so many points in the ride where you just don't even know what direction is up, and it's just really astounding. Something I did want to highlight, though, I think we were talking about it earlier slightly with the scope. The scope of this ride, it really does border the line of being too much for what we would say is realistic. But I think the main thing that separates this from, say, other entries in the competition that were told that they were too big, too much, it's that this has two very distinct areas, in my opinion. There's this first launch section that's just absolutely crazy, but I don't think the support work is necessarily something too hard to do, or the theme, it's not something too hard to do. It's very condensed within itself so that you can still work with it. And then you come up to this 500-foot tall level, and then you have just a large coaster as is, and it sort of segments it up. So even though the end product is so massive and just like visually like what the hell am I looking at right now? It is crazy, but it's still able to be chunked out and actually digested within the 3-week period.
And each person definitely was given a lot of space for their own ideas, I think. As crazy as the scope of the layout is, I think everyone had the choice to basically do the bare minimum, and each person here chose not to and just literally gave their 110% and then some to really, I think, just makes this such a special entry, I think. And I think, Per, you called this the spiritual successor of Colder Fusion, I think, which
Yeah,
I find it super fitting as well.
the spirit, there's just a lot of No Limits 1 spirit in here, and especially what you mentioned, like saying that there's like the choreography of it. Like I said, yeah, the trains sort of like dance with each other. The way everything moves with each other, there's a lot of care put into this layout. It seems like a complete mess, but there's a lot of care, especially to the timing, which is very cool and very interesting to see.
Yeah, that was the reason for saying wait for the red train, so that 2 trains launched ahead of you and you would be dancing around them.
Yep.
Exactly.
And while definitely unreasonable, I think you can still be unreasonable and show a clear vision. And that's what this does. So I'm willing to overlook a little bit of the unreasonableness because the layout builder definitely had a vision. They definitely wanted to do something with this. So I can't be as mad as someone just slapping together a bunch of elements on a long coaster and calling it a day.
Yeah.
There's clear intent to having a long layout. It's not just, let me just do a long layout for the competition because it's fun.
Yeah, and I think there were a lot of clever solutions created for issues that well, not issues, but problems that you'd face when trying to theme a ride like this. We were talking with the themer and they were like, well, I've never done a moving switch track before. I don't know what to do for that. So instead of creating a moving switch track at that triple switch just over on the right, they said, okay, well, now we're going to have the 3 light beams and create some sort of fantastical solution to this that can't really exist on any other ride except this one. And I think it actually elevated the ride. I think those sections look really cool, almost Hot Wheels-y in a way, and it really just adds the extra pop that some of the other entries didn't have, while also solving an issue that one of the big issues they had at the start.
And that's a great point that kind of echoes a comment that Per made on Stromnar, that I think each person on this project definitely understood their limits, their capabilities, and the means that they were able to work within, and they absolutely maximized what they could do within their own capabilities.
I just love this
and to be able to recognize that is really impressive.
That's very important.
The scope of this is what really stood out to me, because there's this giant indoor cavern, and it's huge. It takes up a lot of space, and then we get flung out into this giant outdoor area that is covered with the story of the ride, because we've taken a portal somewhere else and we had to launch at fantastical speed to get there. It all works really, really, really well. This is an exceptionally ambitious track to have put together, and yet the supporter and the themer just went nuts with it, as you guys pointed out, and it shows. They just took it and ran with it to the nth degree, had enough details in there, clever problem solving for specific issues that actually enhanced the final product as opposed to becoming a detriment or some kind of a constraint. It made it better. So just amazing work.
It's also just pretty much a masterclass in working creatively. I think a lot of people place a lot of emphasis on realism, especially in this competition, which I get to a degree, but I think, when you think about Three Blind Mice and the entries in the past that have stood out, they're the ones that, just fully go crazy and try something unique, because I feel like that's a way to challenge all of your teammates. As much as we love realism sometimes, I think it's very limiting, especially in the way I see a lot of projects come out in NoLimits nowadays. There's not a lot like this being made, but back in the NoLimits 1 days, there was a lot. So I'm really glad to see a turn in the community right now to, just not really caring about realism, going for,
let's go for it.
More visual spectacle. Just make something that you think is cool. Make something that shows an idea that you had.
And Joseph, this is all structurally sound, right?
So
This-
I wanted to talk.
We don't know
just
the
a little
gravity
bit.
up here, so.
Go ahead, Joseph.
I think to counter some of the points that have been made, um, we can't recommend that this is how you do a three blind mice project.
True, that part.
It is extremely risky to
Totally.
make a trap like this and just kind of hope that your supporter and themer are going to come through.
Yeah.
I know, I think I can speak for all of us when I say we have knocked down people in the tour, biting
Yeah.
off more than they can chew, only because their teammates didn't come in and save them.
Yes, that is true.
As
That is
amazing
very
as this
fair.
is, you can't say, "Oh, I'm going to do this for the next three blind mice," because it might result in you having one of the lowest rated coasters out of any.
Yeah. High risk, high reward.
I truly, I wrote this in my review. I truly cannot come to terms with the fact that these are three separate people who did not talk to each other and did not know what each other
Yeah.
were doing. It's unfathomable, and I hope
Yeah.
they realize that that is a compliment.
Yes, completely.
And yeah, I agree that you definitely don't, but I definitely don't always do this. But I think that also comes to the point of knowing your own capabilities. Because when I look at the layout on its own, I would still say it's pretty decent, like on its own. But once again, it's important to understand your own capabilities and in not, I guess, interpret or infer what you think your teammates could also reasonably do in 3 weeks. If you don't think you can reasonably pull off supporting what you've made in 3 weeks or theming it, then don't submit it. I think maybe scale it back.
That's a pretty good criteria to give yourself. That will probably help you more than it hurts you.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's what's important in this competition also, is that it is a competition and you're working with other people. It's important not to let your own idea or need to have your design be shown come ahead of the team, because then you'll end up with something that's just disjointed.
So, we'll take one
So,
last view of the launching mechanism and go ahead and reveal the
Yeah.
winners.
So, yeah, I've been reading some of the guesses in the chat. I think, Carrie, you have no idea who themed this, I believe, right? So,
No, but I think I know who made the track and supports.
so without any further ado, the winners of this year's Three Blind Mice 2025 competition. And by the way, we are not done with this. We have to reveal 20th through 11th after this. So stay tuned in, please. In first place with Journey to Kepler 186F, Team 15. On track, we have none other than Zampano. Congratulations. I think he's busy at a concert in Germany right now. We'll tune in the morning. Don't message him. Don't want to spoil it for him. On supports, we have Dark Star, and on the environment, we have you might be surprised, but a veteran of the Mega Roundups, Cool Coaster Guy. Congratulations to Team 15 on winning Three Blind Mice 2025.
Yes, it's just so good. When through every stage of this, when the file was submitted, my jaw would be on the floor. I was so excited to see what would be coming up.
When we received the track file for this, I was immediately like, this is either going to be something that ends up a little bit messy or this is going to win the contest. There's literally no in between when you take a risk that big. And I'm so glad that it paid off, because this thing is genuinely insane. It is completely bonkers, and I just love it.
I definitely think on track I guess Zampano as well, but like I said, that track definitely I could tell was made by a NoLimits 1 veteran. There, just everything about it, I know it's someone who's been in this program for a very, very long time. And hey, it's been a long time coming. So congrats to everybody here.
Well done. All right, so we'll move along and wrap this up. It's gone a little longer than anticipated, thanks to endless technical difficulties. Let's go ahead and reveal the remaining teams and where they ranked.
Yep. So we'll go pretty fast, probably no more than a couple of minutes. So it's going to go the screenshot revealing the project, the team, and the next is going to flash the track supporter and themer. So in 20th, we have Snake Fight Island. It is an interesting dueling. There are actually a lot of dueling entries this year, funny enough, but this is a dueling Gerstlauer Infinity Coaster with Matrix coasters on track, Skelly Hunter on supports, and Norwood on the environment. 19th place, we have Roman, Team 13, another launch Gerstlauer. On track, we have, flash in a moment. There we go, Arbor. Supports, we have Mirror and the Environment Fred Coasters. I will make a comment on this. Unfortunately, this is one of the entries this year that the themer actually manipulated the supports on the ride, so it actually suffered a penalty. So it kind of could have scored higher, but there were some changes there that I think just went against the spirit of the competition. But nonetheless, the layout's really cool. The supporter started to set up something kind of interesting with this arched bridge kind of structure on the launch. I wish that they carried through in it a little bit more and fully developed it. And the themer did the best they could. So good job to Team 13 Roman. 18th, another penalty, a project facing penalties is Camp Dome. Probably one of the most bizarre entries we've seen this year, where on their own, each person kind of did okay, but I feel like was probably not the right choice of a track for the layout, or for this competition. So it didn't really leave a lot of room for ideas and inspiration. It was a really small scope. And unfortunately, the themer also modified the supports on this, so it got penalized. But on track, we have Intim 305, Crystallic on supports, and Nether 235 for the environment. Next, in 17th, we have Team 19 with Winterhawk, which is a more unique entry in the competition, a really large-scale Vekoma Dutchman flying coaster. So we have on track, I believe it's Ben G, supports Muffles, and the environment Funky Penguin. In 16th, we have Team 12 with Arctic AHS Test 2, which is kind of a Drakenfire inspired Chance GTX coaster. It's a very interesting combination. It's also set in Antarctica, so it's kind of an interesting concept. On track, we have Nerfer 10, Cat of the Potatoes on supports, and Waldo on the environment. And in 15th, we have Team 4 with Elemental. On track, I'll have a comment on this in a second. So this layout in particular, so we have, Jackson Grace on track, Gizu on supports, and Element 115 on theme. This was kind of started maybe similarly to the first place, but unfortunately, I think what happened with this project is the track layout was a little bit large in scope in an overzealous way that I don't think gave the rest of the team a lot of space for creativity and ideas to flow. So I think it's kind of it's the opposite end of the risk you take with a layout like this. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, even just looking at this picture here, if I was told to theme this, I would not know what to do. I'd be like, okay, well, I'll put a little ring of like light or something in the middle, and like probably something around the spike. But just where do I
There's
even
no room
go? What
for
am I
anything.
putting on the left? Yeah.
And I don't think there's
favorite part
any
of
clear
this.
ideas with the layout presented here either. This is the layout that just does everything because it can, but there's no care for presentation, pacing, what story is it telling. It's just nothing.
Huge fan of that giant frisbee in the back. The themer, Jai inched that thing up to the millimeter right where the clearance envelope is, and it just whizzes full speed past you as you're going full speed as well. I literally jumped the first time I saw it. It's by far my favorite part of the file.
It should be said though, this probably had one of my favorite supports of the competition. They're literally immaculate, absolutely immaculate. So
Yeah, the
congratulations to
supports on
these two.
this are insane.
Okay,
I
I
think
think
it's
we
also
should.
important to mention, did we talk about how Jay's modeling software broke and that's why it's all scalable shapes?
Oh yeah, I
I
think
did
their
not know
SketchUp
that.
their SketchUp license broke, so they had to use just pre generated assets. So I think very valiant effort
Yeah,
given the
Yeah.
means. So we appreciate it.
I saw those Aether Systems assets in trains.
Yup.
And speaking
And
of
they show up
Aether
again.
system
Yep.
trains,
Seeing those Aether Systems
Yep.
trains.
in 14th place we have Project Terra Biome Blitz Team 7, uh, which is a mock, or I guess
Or an
minus
instant.
Aether trains. It's a mock launch coaster with a lot of cool self-dueling and presentation of elements. I think it could have been integrated just a little bit with a bit more care, but there is so much in this scene modeled that you don't even see because it's either underground or 5 miles away. It's like really
Yeah, there's
impressive.
like
The
3
amount
other
of
rides themed, basically. There's a whole
yeah,
civilization, a whole city. 50,000
but
people live behind the camera.
it's still nonetheless very impressive. So on track we have KSC coasters, Helix on supports, and Blaze Rhine for the environment.
One thing I
Thi-
want to mention. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, one thing that I want to mention is that this project is big and a lot of it's irrelevant. There's an entire model city in the background that's irrelevant. There's an underground section that's irrelevant, and it just tanks the performance in the end for no reason, and I wish that was not included. I also wish that you did not use AI to generate the original thumbnail and the right description.
Mm. I think the effort into the surrounding area, while appreciated, I think could have been focused onto the main ride area. I think because it's still a crazy amount of effort. I feel like if focused on the ride, I think would have probably yielded a stronger outcome. But it's still, I think, for what it is, to have a fully developed queue and area development area, it's still really cool. So good job, Team 7. In 13th, this is a super cute, charming B&M suspended entry with Galaxy Driller. On track, we have, next slide? Yeah, Surming on track, LCU, CU3 on supports, and Miss Smiler, also known as Amy, on the environment. Congratulations. It's a really cute B&M coaster set in space. It kind of has a really strong No Limits 1 energy for me on this one.
Space
Kind of
potato?
like inverted Incredible Hulk, sort of. And meets Nemesis.
Nice.
In 12th place, we have Team 11 with Serpents of Chaos. It is funny enough, like Snakefight Island, it's another dueling Infinity Gerstlauer with a inverted spike break. It's kind of crazy how two rides in the same contest with no one talking to each other produce the exact same ride virtually. But this one was really cool. The track builder actually did a lot of Bolero on track, J-Pow on supports, and KW Success Theater on theme. Robert did a lot under the hood, doing a manual script to do a manual recovery, I think, if you run the ride in manual operation, which if I was to ride this normally downloading, I would have never thought to do that, or probably would have glossed over it. So really, really cool effort, and the supports are immaculate on this ride as well. I just wish, I feel like the Minecraft theme was a bit shoehorned in, given the work the track and supporter kind of started to set up. But otherwise, I think pretty almost cracked the top 10 candidate for this year's contest. And finally, in 11th, with Team 16, we have Eagle Fortress. On track, we have, actually, I lied. It is not the only Vekoma. This is the other Vekoma in the contest. So sorry I think Jake called me out for spoiling, but this is a Vekoma flying coaster, which is very unique for this contest and in general. On track, we have L24. Supports, we have Chase. And the environment, we have Day Palm. I feel like a little bit of potential is left on the table, but I think just in classic Day Palm fashion, just a very picturesque postcard-like presentation of the project. And again, I wish, kind of like Stromnar, it used colors not like Fly at Phantasialand, but something maybe like a blue or just a royal blue or something. But really cool, unique layout. And there you have it, folks. This year we had 60 unique participants with 20 fully themed projects. It was literally nothing short of amazing that you guys were all able to do this in 3 weeks. And it's been quite a journey. I appreciate the patience everyone had along the way, but I really hope it was worth the wait, because personally, I can only speak for myself. I don't want to speak for all the panel of judges, but I was just blown away by the quality across the board this year.
Yeah, this
everyone
has
should
by
be
far been the
really
strongest
proud.
one.
Which gets me very excited for
I really wanted.
the future. Go ahead.
I was going to say I wanted a break from talking.
Okay.
Okay,
I've been yapping for the last half hour.
I guess I'll say really quick. I really am happy to see how much creativity was shown, and just how many people wanted to challenge not only themselves, their teammates, and a lot of people very much push themselves to create something outside of their comfort zone, and that's really nice to see. I don't think this competition lends itself very well to just playing it very by the books, and I'm glad everyone is picking up on that. And we created a lot of great files, so everybody should be very proud of themselves.
Yes, absolutely.
Completely.
Exceptional work, everybody. And just one of the things to point out that No Limits has been around for I don't know the exact years, but it's close to about 25 years, and No Limits 2 has been out over 11 years. And the fact that it was pointed out as we were preparing for this, the community has completely changed over at least once, where we've got people that have started as kids playing this, that have grown up and have had their own kids who are now learning how to use No Limits. And we have new talent coming in. And the fact that you all have been pushing each other and pushing us and really stretching the limits and trying to find them what the system can do underscores that it was the right decision to give so many creative tools and capability to No Limits. To just watch what you guys create with it, it's utterly fantastic and phenomenal. I'm very, very proud of all of the effort that everybody's been doing to keep this thing going as long as it has. And that it's still going. We still have new people coming in there, and you guys still keep contributing. Quick program reminder for everybody. Roundup 600 will have prizes, and it is coming up soon. It'll be in early August, so you still have a good 8+ weeks to get projects in there. And we know the talent's out there, so I'm very excited to see what's hopefully come in for this one. Remember, it's a video project, so you only really need to build what's going to be seen on camera. Rides that do very well there are ones that have stories to go with their themes. That the music choice and everything works really good, and that the video is tight and well edited to convey that story, to convey that mood, that feeling, that take you to another place. And tie everything together. Really looking forward to hopefully get lots of great entries. We will have prizes. Still working to source the prize that I have in mind, but there will be some prize of some sort given out to the winners this year, and I do still plan to catch up to winners of the previous years where I wasn't able to financially at the time to provide those prizes. But we will make it happen one way or another. I'm going to get caught up on all this stuff. Thank you all for being the best part of No Limits. The community continues to inspire, continues to do amazing creative work. Cannot thank you enough for having stuck with us this long, to have created such amazing works of art, and to know that we and the No Limits people that helped put together what we just wanted to make the most photorealistic coasters we could, and take that eye for detail and bring that into No Limits. And the fact that you guys have taken it to a complete other level. It has inspired people to get into themed entertainment, to get engineering degrees, and are now creating these things that we all love so much for real. All because a long time ago, a fellow in Germany decided, you know what, I really want to make a really good 3D coaster, and there's nothing good enough for me. I'll make it myself. Thank you, everybody, for everything there. Go ahead.
Tom, if I can chime in. So for everyone still watching, the detailed write-ups and judging forms will be going out later today. Amalia has to finish a couple comments, but we will be distributing that in Discord as soon as they're done. We will be keeping you posted on that. And I just want to, again, just quickly thank Tom for hosting, but Joseph and Amalia, Pear, and Kelton just for all your hard work helping judge this year. I really couldn't have done this by myself, but I really couldn't have done it without all of you, especially. So I'm very
of course, it's
appreciative.
So fun. Anytime anyone needs me, I'm here to do this.
And this contest
really
is so
cool
much
to be a
more
part of.
fun.
Yes. It's a
I
great.
appreciate that.
One of the best things with when our community is working really well is when we're collaborating, we're being creative, we're helping each other grow and get better, teaching new folks the way, welcoming people into the community. All of that is all very, very, very wonderful. And especially in this day and age, be kind to each other, be accepting, invite people in, and help everybody around you to do better. With that, I need to go. We have to move on with other stuff. Real life has intruded. So again, thank you everybody for competing. We'll keep announcing additional contests. Don't forget about Roundup 600. You've got until early August. Keep an eye on NoLimits Central. Love to see your entries, and we're also going to get a 5 hours of power. It's out at some point when I have a chance to coordinate that. So thank you everybody for your patience. Thank you for all your creativity and all your contributions. Have a great rest of the day. Be kind to each other. Love each other. Stay safe. See you next time.